Today, you are going to look at the perspective of what are the perks of living alone when you are single versus living with a roommate. So, let me start with telling you why I am making this video. I am a 30-year-old person, and as you can understand, I am a grown up adult. But I was very perplexed when I tried to decide if I wanted to move out alone or still be with a roommate. I have lived with roommates for a very long time, and I tried to figure out what are the benefits of moving into a single bedroom apartment versus living with a roommate. And that's what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes. So let's begin. Single bedroom apartments are generally smaller than double bedroom apartments, and both have their charm and both have issues when you are living alone or if you are living with one roommate or two roommates or number of roommates. And I will tell you what are the perks with different points that I've gone through in my life and the stories related to it. Hope you enjoy it. So stick with me. Let's begin with the perks. Let's talk about the perks of living in a single bedroom versus living in a double bedroom with your roommate. So, to begin with, in a single bedroom, you get your own space. Yes, your own space, which means you can do whatever in this world you want, which means you can dance in your own single bedroom as long as you want without having to take care that it might be difficult for your roommate to go along with the sound you make in your bedroom. I don't mean it in a bad sense, but having your own space gives you a lot of freedom. Now, when you live with a roommate, it's a shared space, and that is good too, because in a shared space, both you and your roommate can live their own individual life. However, you are giving the other person their own space while taking care that you do not exploit their individuality or their freedom. So it kind of teaches you a lot of good points that are important for having a healthy living. And after all, sharing is caring. So why not a shared space? Now, moving on to the next point, when you have your single bedroom, you have your own independence. And what is independence? Independence is the freedom of doing the right thing in the right time, of taking care of your responsibilities for your own actions. So, basically, you should be responsible for your own actions. If you keep your room dirty, it's your responsibility and not the other person's responsibility. And you need to take the responsibility. Okay? So, to me, that is independence, the independence of owning your own actions. When you live with a roommate, you have a codependence. For example, you are living with your roommate and you are sharing your kitchen and the drawing space. And if something goes wrong with any of those portions, you might think that it's not my fault, it's my roommate's fault. And honestly, it could be neither of your faults or it could be your fault. But because of this codependent situation, people often tend to blame the other person. However, codependence also has the good points when you can actually share things with your roommate or your roommate can share things with you, and that kind of takes off the responsibility from you. So it's lesser responsibility on yourself, and that is pretty nice for a single individual living in a very hectic world. When you live alone in a single bedroom, the one thing you have is your individuality. Because You can design your apartment, do any kind of renovations, do any kind of changes based on your taste. This taste reflects yourself. It does not reflect anybody else. So that brings an individuality to your apartment. When you are living with a roommate, however, you do not get the individuality. You may have the individuality only to your own bedroom, but not to the shared space. Because what if your roommate has a completely different outlook towards life? So suppose your roommate is a minimalist. However, you love to have too much of decor. So that could cause issues. But that is why for common spaces that you share with your roommate, you need to have a merge between both of the situations, or else you may find that your individuality is gone. But the perk of being with a roommate is the group activities that you can have with your roommate of a good mentality that matches with your mental frequency. So this group activity you would never get in a single bedroom apartment. You may have different fun events with your roommate in your own apartment, such as watching movies, gossiping, and a lot of other fun events like discussing about politics, so on and so forth. So let me know, which of the apartment kinds do you like? A single bedroom apartment or a double bedroom apartment? And which ones do you prefer? Like staying single in your bedroom apartment, one bedroom apartment, or staying with a roommate? And let's discuss about why you like the one over the other. And with this, I will bring you to the downsides. There are a lot of downsides, and let me tell you my share of the story as I go through the downsides. When you're living alone in a single bedroom apartment, you are singly responsible for your finances associated with the living. Yes, do not forget to pay your own bills. This hasn't happened with me so far because I just moved into a single bedroom apartment, but this is a story that my friend told me. So the first month she moved into an apartment, she had paid the rent in time. However, the next month she forgot to pay the rent by 2 days and she had to pay a fee on top of the rent. So you need to be responsible for your finances when you're living alone, because you cannot hope somebody else will remind you, hey, you need to pay the bill. Come on, you are an adult and you should know that you have to take the responsibility for your finances, right? Now, when you live with a roommate, it's a shared responsibility to pay bills. So suppose you have a bill of $1,000 for a month. Okay, you split them into two of 500 each. But however, your roommate doesn't pay the bills in time. And you have to keep on nagging that please make sure to pay it in time. And if your roommate doesn't pay it in time, then you have the responsibility to pay the total in the actual due date, because otherwise there might be other fines that might be included. This has happened to me only once with one roommate who hadn't paid the electricity bills in time. But in most of the cases, I would say that things really go well. When you are living with a roommate, generally most of the people that you would live in are responsible. However, you need to know that sometimes people might be very busy and they might forget to pay their due bills, and you need to make an effort to make them remember the financial responsibility they have, especially if you are sharing the responsibility in a double bedroom apartment with your roommate. You need to make sure they pay in time, and you make sure that you also put your bills in right time. Now, living alone in a single bedroom can make you scared of being alone. Being alone may be not so good. I mean, being alone is good when you want to think about things, study hard, or have your own time. But sometimes in the night, you might feel that, oh, what if there was some kind of thieves coming around, or if there are some drunk people hitting your door, or what if somebody breaks in? What to do? So those are the kinds of things that might keep you awake in the night when you are staying single in a single bedroom. And trust me, this has happened with me. Sometimes I'm really scared of what might happen while I'm staying alone. The other thing of being alone, and this comes from a perspective of my parents, is that suppose if you are in a need of medical emergency, and if there is another person who knows in your flat that, oh, if you are in medical emergency, they should call in, then it's good. But if you do not have a roommate and if you're staying alone, then who takes care of your medical emergency? This is something to think about. This hasn't happened to me so far, and I can understand that it might be scary to think about it. If I was in a medical emergency, I would call 911. But what if I was not in a position to call 911? I would just hope that my neighbors are good enough to call 911. Honestly, that's what my feelings are. So, as I was telling you, if you live with a roommate, you don't need to get scared of being alone. However, you might get scared of random acts pulled by your roommate. Let me describe what I mean by random acts. So, once upon a time, I had a roommate, and she was a pretty good person. Yes, she was a very good person. But she had huge problem with alcohol. So every time she would get drunk, she would start acting crazy, to the point that she would start eating things from our refrigerator and then go on banging in nights on the neighbor's door for no reason. And then the neighbors would complain, and we even had police coming up to see like if everything was fine in our apartment. So, these kind of random acts may be a little bit of issue if you're living with a roommate. Not that it happens often, but it may happen. So these are the kind of things that you need to be careful. And honestly, I do believe that if you are living with a roommate, it might be better to have a roommate agreement. I know roommate agreement sounds terrible, and there have been a lot of people who have been laughing at the show called The Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon, the character, used to have a roommate agreement. But honestly, a roommate agreement is great. Honestly, I have never been able to pull up a roommate agreement. But if you are a person who can do so, then go ahead. So these are the kind of things that happen with roommates when you are staying with a roommate. But please be careful and decide honestly which one you prefer. Do you prefer a single bedroom or a double bedroom? Give it some thought before you jump in, because you might jump in into any of the situations and find yourself in trouble. There are both perks and downsides, but it's just a simple choice to make. Overall, wherever you move in, I hope that you make the good choice for yourself. And I'm sure that ultimately it boils down to you on how you adjust in any of the situation. So with that, I would like to say, love thy neighbor, but maybe from a distance, considering the current coronavirus situation, where staying away from people might actually be beneficial for you. However, make sure to stay in virtual contact with friends and neighbors so that you can share the love with your friends and neighbors and family and have a healthy life. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for watching this video. If you like this video, put a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hope you will have a great day ahead. So please follow me in YouTube. Have a good day. Bye.